Hi, this is Marie from Creations Photography and Design. Today I'm going to take you through folding a finger puppet, a fortune teller, and a couple of home deco items. We are going to start with a flat piece of paper and end up with a three-dimensional item. I'm showing you three different templates here. An alligator like monster puppet that you can see here, and two fortune teller puppets that will let you amaze your friends. We need to start with a square piece of paper, and because I can't draw anymore, I generally print these out and use a printed paper. I had to fold a blank piece of paper first to figure out where the placement of the eyes and the teeth and the mouth would go, and where the placement of the fortune telling words would be. I suggest that if you're making one at home, that you fold it out of plain paper first, and then you can unfold it and decorate it to make sure that the items that you want to show will show after it's folded. I use copy paper. You could use light index cardstock as well. I will be posting templates, at least on my website, that you can download to see the placement of the alligator and the yes and no fortune teller. And I will try, if at all possible, to have downloadable full-size templates for each of these three patterns. Okay, let's get started. We have our puppet here, and we're going to start by turning it over, and we're going to pull the two opposite corners together. Now, as you can see, my paper cutter isn't the best thing in the world. I can never get a good cut, but I'm worse with scissors, so I go ahead with a paper cutter. So we're going to fold from corner to corner, unfold, and fold from corner to corner again. And we'll hold the corner while we press the fold. I'm using a dedicated folder that came with a photo album that I got once. You can buy similar things in a craft store. They're called bone folders. Or you can use a gift card that doesn't have any money left on it. Or you can use one of those fake credit cards that come in the mail when they want you to spend some more money. You could use the edge of a pencil or the edge of a pair of scissors. Some people use their edge of a fingernail or a thumbnail. I don't like the feeling, so I don't do that. So anyway, what we're doing is we're folding all the corners in towards the center, and because my paper cutter isn't the best one in the world, sometimes I have to rearrange it just a little bit to make sure they all meet fairly nicely. It doesn't have to be perfect. It'll work whether it is or not. But take as much care as you can, and don't worry about that if it isn't perfect. Art rarely is. Okay, now we've got the outside corners folded in. We're going to turn this over And we're going to fold the new corners towards the center as well. Now this one I'm going to do my best so that the teeth are right on the edge. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. That's why it's always nice to fold first and then draw, because you'll know exactly where the fold comes out. Okay, looks like it's pretty good here. Now we're going to fold it in half, side to side. And again, we're trying to keep it as square as we possibly can. And now that we're getting into multi-folds, it is more important than ever to make sure those folds are pressed down nicely. Now it's at this point that we can make our home decor items. If we glue down all the flaps, we have a coaster. And if we glue down just the double layered flaps, and I'm using a double-sided roll-on tape, handiest stuff I've ever found. A lot neater than glue, although it's more expensive. Okay, so now we folded those down, and if we turn it over, we can make a picture frame. Now we can either fold the flaps out and have a white frame, or we can fold the flaps in and have a colored frame. It is more difficult, or fussy maybe would be a better word, to fold these in than it is to fold them out. And if I were going to fold them out, I don't think I'd even bother coloring my paper at all. I would just leave it white, because white or black or gray is always a good color to show off a photo. So this one, knock on wood, is going together relatively well. Some of the other ones don't necessarily go together that nicely, and sometimes I will use the edge of my folder to tuck the ends in. Now we grab a photo that's a little bit smaller than the size of the frame, and we tuck those corners in, and if we bend the paper back as we tuck, it makes it a little easier. There we go. And then we have our little picture frame. We could glue a, whoops, Mom's head doesn't show. We'll have to move that around just a little bit. We could glue a magnet to the back and stick them on the fridge, or we could glue a ribbon loop on the back and hang them just about any place. Okay, back to the puppet. Now we have the puppet, and we have the double flaps up, and what we want to do is we want to pinch this together so it kind of makes a four-pointed star like this. And at this point again, to make your puppet work easier, I am going to mush all these folds down, and I'm going to do all four sides This will give your paper a little more flexibility than it would have otherwise. Okay, I think, all right. Now, what we're gonna do, now that we've got our 4-pointed star, is tip it over to the other side, and we're gonna pull out the single layer flaps. Now, in order to use the puppet, what I'm going to do is use my thumb, my index, my middle, and my ring finger, and each one of those goes into one of the 4 separate slots. Now you'll see that the pinky finger goes in with the ring finger. Now we can open up this way or we can open up this way, but on a puppet, it serves no purpose to open up this way. So what I'm going to do, just to make life easier, is I'm going to glue the chin and the forehead together, just like that. And this will be, you'll be especially grateful for this if you aren't able to do the Vulcan salute. This will be one way to get around that. Okay, pinch these tight together. And let's see if I can run them sideways. There we go. Now you can have a puppet show. You can have 2 puppets together. This is not as easy. You'll have to look at this sideways. Or you can decorate to have one that looks entirely different. All right. I hope this has been helpful. And I am going to fold one last time without saying much, just so you can see it, and it'll go a lot faster. Again, we want to print it side down. And as I'm sitting here folding this, I realize I forgot to show you how to use these fortune tellers. So I'll get to that in just a moment. Okay. And they both work basically the same. This one, you ask a friend to pose a question that would have a yes or no answer, and you can either count out the letters in your name or have them pick their favorite number from 1 to 10, and you count the name or the letters out: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At this point, you've got red, green, pink, and blue, and you ask them to choose a color and say they say green. So you lift up the green answer and it says, "Can't predict this now." This is kind of like the old magic 8-ball. Now, as you get more familiar and learn your fortune teller, you can affect the outcome. Now, say this one, I'm going to want to know if I'm going to win the lottery this week. Okay? And I'm going to count out my name, M-A-R-I-E. This says yes. But if I counted it out M-A-R-I-E, I could get a different answer. So where you start depends on what answer you get. And you know, this is all fun. It really doesn't tell fortunes. I hope you've enjoyed learning how to make all these cute little three-dimensional items and a couple of two-dimensional items. You have a great day now.